Taliban is pretty much in control of things there, but of course their control is not complete by any means. But also, I think it's a mistake for people to think that the Taliban and the Islamic State in Afghanistan are going to stop each other from doing things. They're not. I mean, yes, sometimes they oppose each other, sometimes they kill each other, but also they overlap and sometimes they cooperate. I wouldn't be surprised if the Taliban did not cooperate with the Islamic State attack against Kabul Airport a few days back. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I think there is a kind of agenda on at the moment for some reason to suggest the Taliban is the good guys now. They're no longer the evil guys. Now that's the Islamic State. But it's not true. It's simply misinformation or false disinformation, I think, in some cases.
Colonel Kemp, tell me, how does the global community confront an Islamic terror group such as ISIS or ISIS-K?
Well, we've been confronting these sort of groups for a long time now, and our efforts to do so were, of course, stepped up immediately after 9/11. And there are different ways of doing it. You know, the one way is the Afghanistan way, where we attempted to use our own forces in coordination with Afghanistan security forces, which we trained. Other cases that we might simply support local forces who are trying to deal with the problem themselves. We might carry out airstrikes, etc. But I think one thing for sure is that we have seriously undermined our own capabilities to prevent jihadist terrorism from Afghanistan or inspired by Afghanistan. As when we withdrew, that's really diminished our capabilities there, both in military terms and intelligence terms.
What can we really expect Afghanistan to look like, or the situation to look like, when these foreign forces leave along with foreign press?
Well, we've heard some very nice words from the Taliban in recent days about inclusivity, shared government, equal opportunities, preventing terrorists operating from Afghanistan. All of that should not be believed. It's very clear that the Taliban have learned something in the last 20 years. They haven't, as some people think, changed their spots, but they have learned how to handle PR and to say things the West want to hear. And their primary objective in doing that was to ensure, as far as they could, a smooth departure of Western forces. By smooth, I don't mean they were not willing to allow attacks against them, but they were, they were saying these things to make sure that no one changed their mind about staying in Afghanistan. That wasn't going to happen anyway, but they've been basically hedging their bets. And I think, and the other reason maybe why they're lying about their new way of operating is that, of course, they may need international support, and maybe they hope to dupe the international community into giving them that. And indeed, there are indications in some cases it's working. Our own Prime Minister here in Britain, for example, was talking today about the possibility of establishing diplomatic relations with the Taliban. That should not even be on the cards. That is a desperate mistake to give these people, these terrorists, legitimacy, which will, of course, inspire and encourage other jihadists around the world even more than they have been inspired already by this Taliban victory.
Yeah, extremely worrying. And Colonel Kemp, tell me, we've seen, day after day, just heartbreaking images coming out of Kabul, people lining up there at the airport trying to get on these planes. What is the very latest regarding these evacuations, getting these desperate people out?
Well, pretty much everyone that's going to be got out is out. And all British forces left last night from Afghanistan, having evacuated as many as they could have done. Those who remain are now those who on our lists of people who we wanted to get out, as well as many, many others, will now be hostages to the Taliban. And, we do say we do have a policy that we never negotiate with hostages, of course. We're actually now, believe it or not, talking about negotiating over hostages. When again, the Prime Minister mentioned that if the Taliban behave in a certain way, then we may establish diplomatic relationships. That certain way included releasing people that want to leave Afghanistan. So, the reality, though, is that if they do leave, if they are allowed to leave, any of them, there will be a very high price extracted by the Taliban against us.
Yeah.